Welcome to Prism of Torah with Rabbi Prisman, engaging Divrei Torah packed with stories and practical insights. Find us wherever you get your podcasts or at prismoftorah.org.
Shalom to everyone. As the Heilige Day Chag of Purim is quickly approaching, I would like to share with you a deep idea about what Purim is all about. If you look carefully into the story of Purim, you will see many incidents that exactly what our enemies, or the Goyim, tried to do to us, that same thing that they set up and tried to do to us, happened to themselves. There are many examples of this. I will just bring three of them. Number one, we know that the same mechanism by which Haman planned to kill and to hang Mordechai ended up being the way that Achashverosh ensured that Haman would be hung himself. Incident number two, we know that when Haman was answering Achashverosh in the middle of the night when he couldn't sleep and he saw Haman was in the yard, he said to him to come in and he asked him, what do you think a person should do? What should the king do to someone that saved his life? And of course Haman thought it was him. So he said to him so Haman planned, or was thinking to himself, I'll tell Achashverosh that person should go on a horse, wear royalty, on the royal horse, and someone should be pushing him along the streets. And Haman was hoping that this would be Mordechai taking him, and he'll be on the horse. But really, it was quite the opposite, that Haman had to take Mordechai. And last but not least, even though there are many examples, the last one I'm going to give is what Purim is all about. That on Yud Daled Be'adar was the whole planning of Haman to kill all the Jews, and that ended up being the same date, the same mechanism by which they were going to kill all the Jews. They ended up using the same tabat, the same ring of the kings to stamp on everything to ensure that all the people that were against the Jews will be killed. The basic question is, why was this so important? What lies behind all these incidents that obviously were not coincidental? To answer this, I'll bring up a yesod that we spoke about many times in the past, but I think it screams out on Purim, and I'll explain why. The yesod is that we know when someone is considered to be a strong person, for example, that means he's strong because he's able to stand up against another force. So he's stronger than someone else. He's relatively considered strong. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't work that way. The saying in Lashon HaKodesh is Hukulo Pashut. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everything. You can't say he's more forceful than something else. That's a relative term. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything is emes, and there's no such thing that he's up against something. Meaning he is force. He's everything. So you can't even define it. Something that's beyond our comprehension. So how can you, and this already is the Ramchal, the same author that wrote Mesilas Yesharim, etc., he explains that one of the reasons HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us in this world is to see how even something that seems to be evil, i.e. an evil force, is actually HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's a good force. There isn't such a thing as two different forces. But, once again, we live in a world that Hashem created for us that is one big optical illusion to make us think. And it looks like, and the Yetzer Hara has a chance, the evil inclination, to get us and say, wait a second, it seems like things are there's an evil force here that's doing to us bad. And in the world to come, says the Ramchal, we'll realize, wow, even what seems to be bad, an evil force against us, that itself was good. Right now we can't see it all the time. Sometimes we could, retroactively speaking, we look back and we see. That's exactly how they say in the Mashal, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, you won't be able to see my face, but I'll only let you see my back. So one of the explanations is that several times in life we'll be able to look back upon what happened and realize why it was for our good. But what I'm trying to say is the following, that the Ramchal teaches us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created bad in the world because the best way to show to us that there's only one force in the world is to show that even something that seems to be bad and evil is actually the same force that's good. And we'll only see that in completion in the world to come, not in this world. But a person that lives believing in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's how he's able to reach the level of that he takes everything with a full heart, and no matter what comes his way, even something that seems to be bad, he blesses HaKadosh Baruch Hu and is happy all the time, because he realizes it's all for the best, even though he can't see it right now why that is true. Mimele, that's exactly the idea behind the Megillah and what Purim is all about. Because in the Megillah we see this idea that several times exactly what the Goyim tried to do to us, which at that point was Evel ala Yehudim. It was a time of mourning. It was crazy. What's going on over here? Why are they trying to get rid of us? And exactly that is what made life for the Jews way better, because it's through that Haman was killed, through exactly what seemed to be an evil force. That was the setup for Haman being killed, for all the people hating the Jews being killed, etc. And that is perhaps a deep idea of why Purim is called V'nahafochu. Everything was exactly the opposite. And I want to add and finish off with this deep idea about, there's many, and I think in the past 2 years ago I spoke about this. We all know that a person, there's a big mitzvah to drink on Purim. Ad de lo yoda ve'en au Haman v'boch Mordechai. A person should drink until he doesn't know the difference between the wicked Haman and Baruch Mordechai. So that's how it's brought down. And the question is, there's even a song on it, Chayav inish libusumei ad lo yada ben au Haman and Baruch Mordechai. So why is it saying the wicked Haman and the blessed Mordechai? We know that. Just say that person doesn't know the difference between Haman and Mordechai. And also, it's hard. What is it? What's the idea of drinking? It seems a bit weird. The Rambam says it's very bad to drink and to totally lose it. So what's going on over here? So I have many answers for this question, but the one that's pertaining to what we're discussing now is the following. When a person drinks the right amount, it helps him remove all his worries and barriers between him and connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's the amount one should drink. And when you reach that amount, then suddenly, it doesn't matter what comes your way, what seems to be good or bad, because you realize everything's from Hashem and it is good, just we don't see why it's good. And that's exactly why it says, Ahu Haman, the wicked Haman, and the blessed Mordechai. Why? Because we don't know what's better. The fact that Hashem created such a person like Ahu Haman, the wicked Haman, or a person like the blessed Mordechai, we don't know what's better. We know that Hashem put them in the world so that they're both for the best. We don't know what's better. And that's exactly the whole idea of Purim. Yeh Ratzon, that this Purim will be able to think about this concept and connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a very deep way that will appreciate everything that comes our way, even things that seem to be bad, and appreciate the fact that it's all a setup for the best and it's one big optical illusion that we'll be able to realize in the world to come. Ad kedei kach that I want to end up with this idea that the Gemara in Sukkah says that the tzaddikim, the Rishaim, will cry. Also the tzaddikim will cry, but the Rishaim will cry when they reach Olam Haba. They'll look back and they say, wow, I can't believe we didn't beat the Yetzer Hara. How can it be? And I think a deeper idea of what that means is that they'll see that it was all one big bluff. It was just an optical illusion. And they'll see that the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is such a small thing. How didn't we beat it? How did we not manage to beat it? I cannot believe we fell for it. We knew deep inside our neshamas that HaKadosh Baruch Hu runs the world and everything is for the best. And everything was a setup and everything looks so fake now. Now the truth is prevailing and we realize what it's all about. Yeh Ratzon that we won't be one of them, but quite the contrary. Already in this world, we'll believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and realize that there isn't two forces out there. Everything is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ein oid milvado. Freilich and for.
This concludes another episode of the Prism of Torah. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something valuable. If you did, please subscribe to the podcast and give a 5-star rating. You can also find this podcast wherever you get your podcasts or our own website, prismoftorah.com, where we have a full archive of all our past episodes. We would like to thank Yona Vefa for the recording equipment and Ellie Podcast Productions for handling all our post-podcast productions. Join us next week for another enlightening conversation on the Prism of Torah.